My ex can't stand that I left him because he was working all the time. I'm saying it this clearly because it's the truth. There was no cheating, no third parties, no fights about jealousy. I just got tired of being last on his list of priorities, behind his boss, his clients, his projects. And even though I ended the relationship months ago, he still writes to me as if he can't accept that what we had ended for something as simple as that. I'm 25 years old, and I was in a 2-year relationship with a guy who, from the outside, seemed like the perfect boyfriend. He was always talking about goals, plans, how he was going to climb at work until he reached the top. At first, I saw him as someone admirable, disciplined, focused, with a clear life plan. While many of my friends complained about boyfriends who didn't know what to do with their future, I thought mine had everything under control. The first months were nice. Yes, he worked a lot, but he still found time for me. A dinner after the office, a quick coffee before a meeting, messages during the day telling me he loved me. I thought, okay, he works a lot, but he makes me feel special. He makes an effort to include me in his routine, and that was enough for me. The problem was that little by little, that balance broke. More and more often, he canceled plans because he got stuck at work. Dinners turned into fast food deliveries while he had his laptop open in front of me. Weekends, instead of going out, client calls or answering emails. I started to feel like an accessory, someone who was next to him but not really part of his life.
I tried to talk about it many times. I told him it hurt to feel like I was in second place, that I didn't need luxuries or trips, just real time together. He always answered the same. I'm doing this for us. I'm working now so that in a few years, we'll have everything we want. And while I understood, I also felt he was sacrificing the present for a future I wasn't even sure we'd share. It reached a point where I was emotionally exhausted. I spent whole nights waiting for him to come home for dinner, only to get a text at midnight saying he wasn't coming because he was still at the office. And the most painful thing was that he didn't see the problem. For him, his effort was proof of love. For me, it was proof that he wasn't choosing me. Over time, the routine became a repeated script. Last-minute canceled dates because something urgent came up. Entire weekends with me watching a movie alone while he sat next to me glued to his computer. And messages left unread because he preferred to reply first to his clients or his boss. I felt like I had gone from being his girlfriend to being the shadow of a busy man, as if I were on pause waiting for him to finish working so our relationship could start. We talked about it many times. I asked him to set boundaries, that even if he worked a lot, he should dedicate at least a little time to us. He always responded the same. I'm doing this for our future. Don't you understand? Hold on a little longer and you'll see it's worth it. And while part of me wanted to believe him, the other part was tired of living on promises. The breaking point came on our second anniversary. I had prepared everything. Dinner at home, candles, a small cake. I even printed pictures of us to decorate the table. I waited for him excitedly, checking the clock every 5 minutes. He texted me saying he'd be late, then another message saying he was closing something important, and then nothing. At 2 a.m., I got a, "Sorry, I stayed at the office. We'll celebrate tomorrow." I was alone, with cold food on the table and burned out candles. That's when something broke forever. A few days later, I ended it. There were no screams, no drama. I just told him the truth, that I couldn't keep being in a relationship where I felt invisible, that I didn't want to compete with his work, and that I also deserved to be first at least once. He just stayed silent, as if he couldn't believe it. After the breakup, I thought things would cool down, that he, being as busy as he always was, would move on with his life and bury himself in work as usual. But the opposite happened. It seemed like suddenly he had unlimited time to chase me. At first, it was long messages, almost essays, explaining that I was overreacting. He wrote things like, "You can't leave me for something so silly. Everything I do is for you, for us. If you leave me, you'll ruin what we've built." I read them with a knot in my stomach because deep down, there was nothing left to say. Then came the calls at all hours. If I didn't answer, he would insist 10, 15 times in a row. I changed my notifications, then silenced his number, but he always found a way.
What shocked me the most was the first time he showed up at my house. It was a Tuesday night. I heard the doorbell ring again and again, and when I looked through the peephole, I saw him there, with a mix of anger and pleading on his face. He asked me to come down, to talk to him, that I was being unfair. He told me I didn't value what I had, that many women would kill for a man like him, so hardworking, so dedicated. I was behind the door, hands trembling, thinking how ironic it was. For 2 years, he never had time to come home early to have dinner with me, and now, suddenly, he had time to show up at my door at midnight. The situation started to feel suffocating. I felt he didn't respect my decision, as if he couldn't conceive that someone could leave him for something that, to him, wasn't a problem. And the more he insisted, the more certain I was that I had done the right thing. What he saw as a silly reason was in reality the root of it all. I needed a partner, not a busy ghost. With the passing of months, the storm calmed down. I no longer received 20 calls in a row or constant messages, although from time to time I still get one where he tries to convince me we could fix things. I don't reply anymore, but every time I read those words, something stirs inside me. On one hand, I feel an immense relief. I can live without wondering if he'll cancel another date, without waiting until midnight with dinner served, without competing with a laptop that always had priority over me. I got back my time, my routines, my friendships. I felt present in my own life again. But at the same time, the guilt never completely went away. I think about how he never treated me badly, never yelled at me, never cheated on me. His mistake was working too much. And while for me that was reason enough to break up, there are moments when I wonder if I was too harsh. Did I really do the right thing leaving someone who, according to him, was only trying to secure a future for us? Or was it my impatience, and I ended something that might have worked if I had given him more time? It's a contradiction that haunts me, the relief of being free, and the doubt about whether I made the right choice. And here I am, still going in circles around the same question. Did I really do the right thing by leaving him? Or should I have been more patient with someone who only wanted to work for a better future?